They taught you wrong, my friend. They taught you to smile while your soul bled, to suppress your voice, let silence spread, to be kind, to stay present, to bend with grace, to shrink, to hide in someone else's space. But who told you your peace was not sacred? Who convinced you that worth lies in being agreeable, accessible, nice, even when it cost you everything? Your energy is a privilege, not a guarantee. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. The shift begins today. Something shifts within you. No more begging to be understood. No more apologizing. No more over-explaining your every move. Today, you rise into your most dangerous, most powerful, most untouchable self. The version of you that doesn't need to be seen, that doesn't need to explain the silence. You stop being predictable. Stop handing out pieces of yourself like free candy. Your presence is a rare gift, not a constant demand, not a promise, but a choice. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. Friedrich Nietzsche. The game of control. They trained you from the start, like a puppet on strings, to comply, to nod, to obey, to apologize for your very being. They told you kindness was shrinking, humility was silence, and respect was bending your back, while your soul screamed for freedom. But they never told you the truth. They never told you that control wears a mask, that your silence, your stillness, your unavailability, that's your power. Silence is a source of great strength. Lao Tzu. Becoming unreachable. Now, becoming unreachable is not escape. It is a declaration of self. It's not about running away from others. It's about running back to you, back to your sanity, your boundaries, your peace that they never deserved. For far too long, you've been the one who bends, who explains, who sacrifices. But what have you gained? A life of half-truths, of exhaustion, of being present but unseen. Let them wonder where you went. Let them feel the absence, for absence speaks louder than presence ever could. In your silence, you become unbreakable. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Carl Jung. Silence as strength. The world doesn't respect softness, it can control it. But silence? Silence commands. It's not weakness, it's emotional mastery. You no longer need to react, to explain, to justify yourself because your peace is priceless, and it is yours alone. Your silence is your shield. Your stillness is your strength. Let the noise surround you. Your stillness speaks louder. You are a mystery, untouchable, unreadable, and that is where your power lies. Become who you are. Friedrich Nietzsche. The myth of saving others. There is a moment when you realize you cannot save everyone. You cannot rescue them from their choices, from their chaos, from their pain. Some people are not looking for healing. They are looking for sympathy, for attention, for validation. But you are not their savior. You are not their therapist, and trying to rescue them will only drown you. You are your best thing. Toni Morrison. Letting go. Letting go is not weakness. It is how you reclaim yourself. You stop clinging to love that drains you, to people who have no place in your peace, to the conversations that silence your truth. When you stop needing their validation, you stop being emotionally hijacked. You stop performing for a world that demands more than you can give. And when you finally let go, you rise, not from fighting, but from choosing you. The power of mystery. In a world that screams for attention, the quiet one is the rarest, the one who commands the room without a sound. His silence is not emptiness. It is full of strength. It draws people in, makes them wonder, makes them chase. They've tried to tell you that stillness is weakness, that silence is awkward. But no, it is power. For the loudest are often the weakest, the most insecure, the most fragile. But the one who stands silent, who moves in stillness, that one is unshakable, a force no one can break. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Friedrich Nietzsche. Your energy is sacred. It's time you understand this truth. Your energy is not infinite, your time is not endless, and your peace is not a commodity. It's not selfish to protect it. It's not cruel to demand respect for your boundaries. You're not here to be everyone's savior. You are here to live your truth, to honor yourself, and let those who cannot accept it fall away. Because when you let go, when you stop sacrificing your peace, you start living. And in that moment, you rise. The burden of being overavailable. You were taught to smile when your soul was weeping, to give and give, though your heart's barely keeping, to stay kind, stay present, and always be there, while your own silent screams hung heavy in air. They told you to bend, to shrink, to appease, to make others comfortable, even if it meant your peace ceased. But who taught you, my friend, that peace was to trade, that your worth lies in comfort, a role you must play? No, your peace is sacred. It's yours to protect. Your presence, a privilege, not something they can neglect. Breaking free from the prison of expectations. In this world, they've built chains from soft threads of need, taught you to yield, to bend, to plead, to shrink your own soul, to fit in their mold, to silence your fire, to quench the bold. But these chains, they were never meant to hold. You were never made to be small or cold. When you stop begging to be understood, when you cease justifying and stand as you should, that's the moment you rise, untouchable, free, no longer a prisoner, but the one who is me. The true nature of freedom. Freedom's not granted by the hands of the crowd. It's not won by approval, nor spoken too loud. It's found in silence, in stillness, in grace, a reclamation of your sacred space. For too long you've bent, and in bending you've lost. The price of that bending, a soul's heavy cost. Now you reclaim, you rise, and you stand, no longer the puppet, but the master at hand. To be free is to choose, without fear, without plea, to live by your truth and not to appease. You need no approval, no judgment, no praise. You are enough in all of your ways. The power of silence and stillness. In a world where noise is the currency of kings, silence is power, the song that it sings. Not cold, not distant, but calm and refined. The strength of stillness, unspoken, defined. You've been taught that silence is weakness, they say, but silence, my friend, is power's true way. For in quietude, you find your strength, a fortress of peace, with no need to explain length. The world may shout, but you move through its roar. With quiet control, you need nothing more. In silence, you become unreadable, strong. The world will wonder where you belong. Unpredictable, untouchable, mysterious too. In your silence, you're the one who moves through. The art of letting go. There comes a moment when holding on hurts, when love that once healed now tears, and it smirks. When loyalty becomes the chains around your neck, and you must let go to escape the wreck. It's not the loss that you fear in the night, but the silence, the stillness, the end of the fight. But hear this truth. That silence, that space, is not punishment. It's the rebirth of grace. You're not losing, you're shedding, you're freeing your soul, letting go of what's taken, to make you whole. You release what was never meant to stay, to make room for yourself, to rise, to play. What does not kill me makes me stronger. Friedrich Nietzsche. Conclusion. No longer will you shrink, no longer will you bend. You are the master, the beginning, the end. Your peace is your fortress, your silence your sword. You've risen from chaos, no longer ignored. You've learned to choose, to protect, to stand tall, no longer a servant, but the ruler of it all. In the stillness, you are found. In your silence, the world resounds. And in this power, you rise, untamed, a force of nature, untouchable, unclaimed. The strength of boundaries. They told you to be all things, to everyone. But in doing so, you lose who you've become. They trained you to give until you were dry, to apologize for your own tears, to never ask why. But there's strength in saying no, in drawing a line where you will not go. For boundaries are not walls, they are gates of respect. They preserve your peace, they keep you in check. And when you say no, you are not cruel, you are wise, and you are the rule. Boundaries are not prisons, they are shields. They protect your essence, your power, your fields. A person who has no boundaries has no identity. Dr. Henry Cloud, psychologist and author, The Art of Being Unpredictable. You are not meant to fit into a mold, to be seen, to be told, to be bought, to be sold. You are a mystery, a puzzle, a dream, an enigma they cannot quite deem. When you walk with purpose, calm in your stride, the world watches, but they cannot decide. They try to predict, to dissect, to know. But in your silence, they have nowhere to go. For unpredictability is your cloak, a mantle of power no words ever spoke. They try to read you, but you're unreadable, like the stars at night, undecodable. Historical examples of silence and strength. History is filled with those who understood the art of silence, the ones who spoke less, but commanded reverence. Take Alexander the Great, who led with iron hand. But when he spoke, few dared to stand. His silence was power, his words, a decree. And in his quiet moments, the world would see. Or look to Cleopatra, who reigned with allure. Her presence was magnetic, her silence pure. She did not beg for attention or try to conform. She allowed her presence to create a storm. And Winston Churchill, in moments of strife, knew the strength of silence in the heat of life. His speeches were powerful, but his stillness too. It commanded respect. It commanded you. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons of a leader. Nelson Mandela, political leader and activist. The power of embracing the unknown. In a world obsessed with certainty and control, the truly powerful embrace the unknown, the role of being unpredictable, of staying untold, of allowing the mystery of their heart to unfold. Look at Marie Curie, who ventured where few dared. Her silence and focus proved she was prepared. She didn't need applause, nor accolades loud. Her work spoke for itself, her silence, proud. Her discoveries changed the world, deep as the sea, and she did it without needing to be seen. Or consider Steve Jobs, the visionary mind, who led Apple with wisdom, not bound by the grind. His silence was strategic, his focus, sharp. He didn't chase approval, nor try to depart. He knew that true genius doesn't shout, it waits, it's calm and patient, it controls its fates. The quiet ones are often the most powerful. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple Inc. The illusion of the need to save. There's a misconception, a trap you must flee, that you are meant to save all, to heal and decree. You're not their savior, not their guide, and no matter how hard you try, you can't stop the tide. Some will drown in their own design, and it's not your place to cross that line. You cannot fix the unfixable, nor can you heal the unhealable. Let them find their own path, let them fall. For sometimes the greatest love is in answering the call, to step back, to breathe, to let them learn, to stop saving others and let them burn. You cannot save everyone. Some people are too broken to be fixed. Carl Jung, psychologist and philosopher, The Unseen Power of Self-Respect. This journey is yours and yours alone. It's not about how many you've helped or shown. It's about reclaiming the power you've given away and protecting your peace day by day. When you let go of the need to be all things, when you rise above the chaos that clings, you're no longer a victim nor a slave, but a force, unshaken, unafraid. Your silence is strategy, your peace is your throne, and in the end, you'll stand, whole, unknown. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Friedrich Nietzsche, philosopher. Conclusion: the evolution of the self. When you stop seeking validation from others, when you stop bending to fit their borders, when you step into your own light, untamed, you will rise, not for others, but for your name. You're not meant to be easily understood. You're not meant to be taken for good. You're meant to be powerful, resilient, and bold, to live life on your own terms, uncontrolled. So rise, my friend, and claim your place in this vast, untamed, limitless space. Your silence is your strength, your absence, your power, and in this moment, you reclaim your hour. The silence of self-awareness. There's wisdom in retreating, in choosing still, to sit with yourself, to quiet the thrill. In a world that's noisy, that seeks to demand, true strength comes from a place so grand. It's not in the loudest, nor the most seen, but in those who walk with a quiet sheen. For silence is not the absence of mind. It's a presence that others rarely find. The more you are still, the more they will crave. For those who speak least are hardest to save. Let them seek, let them wonder, let them implore. You don't need to chase. They'll come to your door. As Carl Jung once said, wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integrating all parts of the self. By retreating into yourself, you learn that true power isn't in being known, it's in knowing yourself fully. You don't need others to validate your existence. The most powerful people, as Jung suggests, are those who embrace their full range of being, light and dark, strength and vulnerability. When you are at peace within, you need not explain your actions to others. The power of silence and resilience. You don't need to justify every move you make, to give to others for your own heart's sake. The moment you stop needing to prove you're right, you regain your power, you step into the light. For silence, true silence, is not absence, it's might. It's the quiet strength that's born from the fight. Those who never bend, who stand tall and firm, are not the loudest. They are those who affirm, not with words, but with their still, quiet gaze. Their actions speak louder than any phrase. They rise, they fall, they learn, they grow, but never do they beg the world to know. As Friedrich Nietzsche once proclaimed, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. This captures the essence of silent strength. When you are grounded in your purpose, when you understand the core of who you are, you don't need to explain your existence to anyone. Your presence speaks volumes because it is rooted in a deeper truth that others cannot ignore. Nietzsche's words remind us that once we know why we're here, the world's judgments become irrelevant. The strength in saying, "No, no," is not a word of weakness or fear. It's the anthem of those who hold themselves dear. To say no is to reclaim what's yours, to close doors on those who want more. The people who are drawn to your energy, they will test you, demand endlessly. But remember, each no is a line you defend, a declaration that your peace has no end. You don't owe them explanations, don't owe them your time. To preserve your soul, you must draw the line. Saying no is self-respect, a protective crown. It's the power to say you will not drown. As Carl Jung wisely noted, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. In saying no to others, you are choosing to say yes to yourself. You are accepting your own needs, your desires, and your limitations. True self-acceptance comes from the ability to prioritize your own well-being, even if it means saying no to others. And as Jung teaches us, embracing our true selves, with all their complexities, is one of the bravest acts we can undertake. The legacy of the silent leader. Great leaders throughout history knew the art of stepping back, staying apart. They didn't need to be loud to be heard. They spoke with action, not every word. Think of Lincoln, who stood tall in his grief. His silence spoke strength, gave others belief. Or Gandhi, with his passive resistance, a leader whose silence held deep persistence. Their words were few, their impact immense, their silence the key to their presence. In times of war, of chaos, of strife, they knew the power of quiet life. To lead without shouting, to command without force, to show that true leadership runs its own course. As Nelson Mandela once reflected, "I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying." Mandela's quiet strength was not born from loud speeches or aggressive tactics, but from the power of endurance, patience, and reflection. His silence in times of hardship, his ability to remain centered in the face of immense pressure, was his greatest weapon. He chose his words carefully and used his presence to lead with wisdom, not force. In a world of noise, the quietest can hold the most influence. The power of walking alone. There's a freedom in walking the path that's yours, in cutting ties with the noise that implores. For many will want you to join their fight, but when you stand alone, you reclaim your light. They will try to drag you into their storm, to make you fit their version, their norm. But you must stand firm, you must stand tall, you must listen to your inner call. Walking alone is not lonely, not sad. It's the peace you've longed for, the truth you've had. In solitude, you find your core. You find the strength you've been searching for. As Nietzsche wisely warned, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. The chaos that others try to impose on you, that constant pressure to conform, to please, to be seen, it's all an illusion. True freedom comes when you embrace the chaos within and allow it to fuel your authenticity. Like the dancing star that emerges from the darkness, you must embrace your solitude, your individuality, and the power it brings. Conclusion: the path of unreachable peace. As you walk this path, let go of the noise, let go of the chaos, the fake, the toys. Let go of the need to be needed, to fit in. Let go of the voices that scream from within. Instead, listen to the quiet pulse of your soul. Listen to the whispers that make you whole. The power lies in not always being near, in choosing when to be present, when to disappear. The world may beg for your presence, your sound, but you, my friend, will be strong and profound. In your absence, they'll feel what they've lost, and in your silence, you'll show them the cost. As Carl Jung also said, The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The privilege of truly being yourself is in choosing when and how you present yourself to the world. It's about knowing your worth, your boundaries, and your peace, and guarding them fiercely. You are not here to be constantly available or to save others from their own struggles. You are here to live your truth, to be present for yourself, and to honor the quiet strength that comes from knowing who you are. The courage of standing alone. It takes courage to stand when others move, to walk your own path, to prove and improve. When the world pushes you into the mold and whispers in your ear that you're growing too bold, the true warrior knows, deep in their soul, that peace is found when they take control, not through the approval of those around, but through silence, where true strength is found. Let the noise be loud, let them all scream. Your power lies in staying serene. For when the crowd fades, when the voices fall, it's the quiet ones who stand tall. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This rings true as you reclaim your peace. The external noise and chaos are merely distractions. The true quality of your life depends on what you choose to cultivate within your own mind. When you stop being swayed by the demands of others, when you cease to bend to the world's expectations, your thoughts become your own, and in that, your happiness resides. The legacy of silent strength. Think of the greats who knew silence's might. From the peaceful kings to the generals in fight. Alexander the Great, with his noble cause, chose silence in strategy, without applause. The greatest rulers didn't just speak loud, they commanded attention without the crowd. Queen Elizabeth, steadfast in her reign, her silence spoke louder than words could explain. The art of ruling with a quiet grace is knowing when to step back, to hold your space. For power is not in being seen, it's in choosing the moments where you are serene. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wisely observed, silence is a great peacemaker. This speaks to the depth of silence's power. It's not a passive act, but a conscious one. When we are silent, we are not surrendering, we are mastering ourselves. Just as Emerson recognized, silence brings peace, not just within, but to others around you. It calms the storm, gives space for reflection, and allows wisdom to emerge where once there was only noise. The art of self-sufficiency. In a world that seeks validation, applause, and praise, the self-sufficient soul walks through a different haze. They don't need the crowds, the lights, the cheer. Their strength is in knowing they're already here, not for recognition, not for the game, but for the purpose that burns like a steady flame. They do not need others to see their worth, for they've found it in the quiet of their birth. Self-sufficiency is not cold or cruel, it's the highest form of emotional rule. To rely on yourself, to trust your own mind, is to know you're complete, to no longer be blind. As Friedrich Nietzsche reminds us, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. This underscores the essence of self-sufficiency. When you know your purpose, when you understand your value, you don't need the approval of others to define you. Your worth comes from within, from the inner understanding that you are enough just as you are. In this self-sufficiency, you find a freedom that cannot be disturbed by external forces. The quiet power of leadership. True leaders don't dominate with their voice. They lead with presence, with every choice. Think of Washington, who, with a steady hand, led a nation toward a free and united land. He didn't need to shout, to force, to demand. He moved quietly, but with a firm command. Churchill, too, with his powerful stance, led Britain through war with silent endurance and trance. They knew the power of a steady gaze, of leading by example in tumultuous days. Great leaders don't need to speak to be heard. Their actions carry weight without a single word. As John F. Kennedy once stated, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Kennedy understood that true leadership doesn't come from the noise of rhetoric, but from learning, listening, and leading by example. A true leader doesn't have to shout to be heard. Their presence and actions are enough to inspire and guide. They have the strength to be silent when necessary and the wisdom to act when required. The strength in rebirth and letting go to rise again. You must first fall. You must let go. Release it all. The ties that bind, the fears that weigh. Let them go. Don't let them stay. For rebirth is not a gentle thing. It's a shedding of old skin, a new beginning to bring. You cannot grow if you stay confined by the past, the fears, or the ties that bind. To let go is not to fail or fall. It's the strength to rise, to stand tall. Let go of the old, the toxic, the pain, so new roots may grow in sunshine or rain. As Lao Tzu once said, new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. Letting go is never easy, but it is a necessary step toward growth. Every time you release what no longer serves you, you make room for new opportunities, for new energy to enter your life. Just as Lao Tzu taught, every ending holds the potential for a new beginning, and in that lies your true strength. Letting go is not weakness. It is a vital act of self-care and self-empowerment. The truth in solitude. In solitude, you discover your own mind. You find the truths you've long left behind. The voices outside may pull and shout, but in your quiet you have no doubt. For it's in silence that clarity grows. It's in stillness that the inner truth shows. The world may demand, may question your time, but peace is found in the moments sublime. Solitude is not loneliness, it is grace, a chance to breathe, to find your place. As Rainer Maria Rilke said, I live my life in widening circles that reach out across the world. I may not complete this last one, but I give myself to it. Rilke beautifully captures the essence of solitude. In solitude, you come to know your true self, and through that understanding, you expand outward into the world. But this growth begins in silence, in the space where you find your own rhythm and truth. Only then can you give yourself fully to the world without losing yourself. Conclusion: the timeless power of silence. You've seen it in history, you've felt it within. The quietest of souls can always win. The world may scream, demand, and fight, but in your silence, you find your might. You don't need to yell to make your case, for true power is found in your quiet grace. Your peace is your treasure, your silent shield. To the chaos of the world you will not yield. Let them wonder, let them guess. Your silence is your strength, no need to impress. You've learned to rise, to stand apart, to walk in peace with your whole heart. As Carl Jung profoundly said, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. In the end, your strength lies not in the approval of others, but in the clarity that comes when you turn inward. As Jung said, the path to awakening is through self-awareness, through embracing your silence and the strength it brings. When you look within, you awaken your true power, an unshakable, untouchable force that is yours alone. The final stand, mastery of the self now. You've walked through silence and strength, learned to claim your power at arm's length. You've seen how the quiet can conquer the loud, how stillness rises above the crowd. You've felt the truth of letting go, and how in silence, true strength begins to grow. But let me ask you, where do we go from here? When we've shed the layers, let go of the fear, what remains when the noise has ceased, when you stand in the power of your own peace? The journey continues. The path is yours, for life itself is full of open doors. So stand tall, embrace the quiet space. Your power lies in your own embrace. As Nietzsche so brilliantly observed, he who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. In this, Nietzsche reveals an important truth. When we choose to step back, to quiet the chaos around us, we must also be aware of our own inner monsters. Silence doesn't just protect us from the world, it gives us the opportunity to confront the darkness within. As we reclaim our peace, we must remain vigilant in maintaining the integrity of our thoughts, our actions, and our own sense of self. The path of self-discovery. This journey of silence and solitude, it's not about running, not about being rude. It's not about pushing others aside. It's about recognizing where your power resides. To be kind to yourself, to give yourself grace, to stand in your truth, to hold your own space. For in that power, you're truly free to be yourself unapologetically. You see, the journey never ends. It simply transforms. Every new chapter, a chance to reborn. Embrace your quiet. Embrace your truth. You are the master of your own youth. Every thought, every action, every move, let it come from the place where your soul will prove that your peace is sacred, your silence divine, and that when you choose yourself, you choose to shine. As Carl Jung profoundly stated, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. To become who you truly are. This is the final lesson, the essence of this entire journey. To rise above the noise, to choose your own path, to walk in your own power. When you understand this, you no longer need to seek approval, validation, or acknowledgement. You become the person you were always meant to be, untouched by the expectations of others and free to walk in your own truth. And so, the final question is this: how do you reclaim your peace in a world that demands your attention, your energy, your time? How do you stand firm in silence, yet still make an impact? How do you protect the sacredness of your mind, your heart, your soul? These are the questions we must continue to explore. And now, I invite you to share your thoughts, your experiences, and your reflections. How has silence shaped your life? What does it mean for you to stand in your own truth? Let's open this space for discussion, for growth, and for the exchange of ideas. As the great philosopher Soren Kierkegaard said, the most common form of despair is not being who you are. Now is the time to be who you truly are, to rise, to become unreachable in the best way possible, and to step into the powerful, untouchable version of yourself. Let's continue this journey together. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss the power of silence, strength, and peace.